Hi, soul friend. Something I've been thinking a lot about is when you are stepping into a new identity and really uploading new software of that new identity. What no one ever wants to tell you about is that the years and lifetimes of seeds that you've planted of your old self sometimes will ripen as you are building this new self. And so you end up feeling this huge amount of friction trying to step into this old self while these seeds that you've planted, these stories and these beliefs, are just trying to claw you back and drag you and backslide you into that old self mindset. I've had this happen in the last few months, and it's such a wild, uncomfortable, disorienting feeling because you see light at the end of the tunnel. You see that self slowly solidifying, the new self and the new beliefs starting to become more solid and become a strong structure. But as it's happening, the self-doubt, the stories, the sabotage will start just gnawing at your subconscious mind, saying like, no, you're not that person. You're not that new version. You are that same person that I've seen. You, all your data, all the research, all of the proof is that you are your old self. And it starts to play these mind games with you. And like I mentioned, it could be so disorienting and so frustrating because the fear and the doubt have had their hooks in you for so long. But the new self can't be bothered with that. And so what do you do when that doubt creeps in, when that self-sabotaging pattern creeps in? The first thing is to notice and to have the awareness of what is happening. Just noticing itself is really half the battle. Noticing that it is the old self that is calling you back. Because if you are able to label it in that way, then you know that it is, you kind of know what the monster's face looks like, if you will. The second half of the battle is the hardest part, which is to love that version of you. To not say or think and believe, I can't be that person anymore. I don't want to be that person. That person didn't serve me, didn't do the things that she wanted to do or he wanted to do, and that version of me fucked up my life. That is where we fuck up the most, is thinking that our old self is, or that life that we're trying to pull away from is bad, or is this horrible part of us. What's revolutionary and radical in those moments is to love the old self. Because when we love our old self, our past self, and the future self, and the current self, then there is true unconditional love and integration that is the foundation that we want to truly stand on. I've made so many mistakes in the past, hating the parts of me that were dark and hard to love. But the truth is, when we step into our power, when we reclaim our power, when we are finally really in that pocket of our infinite potential, you have to love all the parts of you, the parts that are beautiful and the parts that are ugly, and everything in between needs to come along for the journey. Because the new self would not have ever come to be if that old self didn't suffer, it didn't struggle, didn't feel pain and hardship and crawl its way to where you are right now. And so often we want to rid ourselves of that version and say, I knew me, like, I can't be bothered with that. I never want to go back. That version of you survived so much and endured so much. And the truth is, we should lovingly give reverence, deep, deep reverence to those parts of us that survived. Because that is the blueprint to how you got here in the first place. The old seeds will ripen when you least expect it and at the most inopportune time. But it is the chance to practice deep compassion and reverence for yourself, all parts of you, the parts that have been broken and the parts that are healing and the parts that are starting to fully build that life and that identity of that you've been truly dreaming of and truly building towards. We must really love all the parts, or we will stay divided and scattered in our soul forever. And it sounds intense because it is. It is an intense experience, but it is so worth it and so rewarding when we can truly love all sides of ourselves. That's the only way to really fully step in.